Hello and welcome to another early 2000 sci-fi disaster movie. This
Yay!
time it's been one kinda in the making because I did wanted for us to tackle this for a very long time, but
And
for
I
one
feel
reason or
like we
another,
have looked at this one
we
before, but the
might
commentary just
we
didn't
might
get
have
uploaded.
started it, Jova, but we never actually managed to finish through even in that case.
That I can believe because way back when we were new to this, we used to sometimes have to do our movie commentaries in segments.
Anyway, I'm talking about 2003's The Core, directed by John Amiel, which doesn't really have much in terms of movie filmography. The one that I can recognize the most is Entrapment, which he did in 1989, and which I don't really have a high opinion of. But after this, aside from one minor movie in 2009 called Creation, he mostly has remained stoically a TV director for one or two episodes on some series. Like American Gods, for
So tell me,
example.
Gio, why has this movie commentary been such a passion project of yours?
I'm getting to it. Screenwritten by Cooper Lane and John Rogers, one of the writer for Catwoman. Yes, to giving credit, and he also apparently worked on the first Bayformers movie. But to give him credit, he has been one of the co-creators of stuff like Jackie Chan Adventures at the very least. So he's not a completely bad writer, but I guess he works better on television, which is still what he's doing basically these days. And this is something that doesn't get brought up much because the movie that came out with not much marketing by Paramount, bombed at the box office with a budget of 85 million and a recoup of 74.1.
Ooh.
And after this, it has only been brought up by the scientific community as an example to how not make a sci-fi movie, especially one set around the Earth. The thing about it is that it has a bit of a troubled development cycle, particularly about the writing and contrast between them and the Paramount execs. But it's a very long story, so I want to reserve it for the very end of the movie, so you also know the context about what's about to happen.
Is that the whole reason you've wanted to cover this movie all these years?
This was actually something that I learned recently, very recently. The reason why is that while the movie technically bombed, it is, at least in my country, so a bit of a resurgence by being broadcasted quite a lot on TV. So I got the chance to watch it when I was 13 or 14, basically, teenage years. And I actually did enjoy it back in the day. Nowadays, it's more of a so bad is so good kind of thing, and you'll be able to see why. But I kind of had a soft spot for these early 2000, CGI, not CGI, early 2000 sci-fi, disaster kind of movie like this. I think it was called Sunshine, A Mission to Mars, Red Planet, which we commented upon and stuff like that. You'll be able to see the rest of it in due time. So let's actually start. Start your copy before the actual Paramount logo, one small second of a black screen before of it, in 3, 2, 1, click. So by the way, there's quite the cast in this movie. Aaron Eckhart, Harvey Dent from the Dark Knight saga, is our protagonist. Then we have people like Hilary Swank, and Stanley Tucci, among a couple of others.
Oh, wait. Alfred Woodard? What is Mariah Stokes / Miriam Sharp, both from the MCU, doing in here?
We'll see her soon enough. Remember, Pedro?
The titular core is the actual Earth's core.
So
actually.
Wait.
Who knew the core was in the Paramount logo?
I will mention this. One snippet I can give you is that the entire idea of why this movie was made is because a Paramount executive wanted to make a quote-unquote Armageddon but down.
Armageddon but down. That sounds like an oxymoron.
Armageddon is already dumb.
No, down. Or
yeah.
Down.
So we start in Boston.
No, I can see what he means by that, to be fair, then. He means I want to do this, but purely on the Earth.
James Franco, what are you doing here?
Maybe that's James Franco's brother, the guy that starred in also that movie Nerve.
But yeah, honestly, now that I think about it,
What?
what?
Excuse me, what? Businessmen doing bro fists?
Pedro, this is what Hollywood believes businessmen tends to do.
Wait. But Tio, Hollywood is run by businessmen, so shouldn't
Of course.
businessmen know what businessmen do?
Oh. Bonk.
What
Okay,
the?
Tio,
Well, this came out of nowhere.
Tio?
Hold
What?
on. Yes, Jova.
please tell me that was meant to be funny and not supposed to be taken seriously, because I'm
It was
sorry.
supposed to be taken seriously. The problem is that the way face plants onto the table.
Let me
Wow.
guess. Let me guess. He just died.
Yeah. There
fact,
is a
people
reason.
all over are dying.
We actually learn why he and it seems a lot of other people here have died in a couple
Let
of
me-
minutes, I think.
Let me guess. They're magnetically attracted to the Earth's core at some point in their bodies, and the force of the pull down killed them.
You might
So-
be onto something, James, but it's a slightly more complicated than that.
Hello, Mr. Harley. I'm Pedro. Ah!
Basically,
Seriously, though,
someone used the Death Note.
I'm sorry. Did nobody ever look at that take and think, maybe that face looks just a little silly smeared against the glass window?
Jova,
like that?
maybe that was the best take. Okay.
Oh.
Did 20 takes. and
Let's see if you have
best-
ever heard this one. Aaron Eckhart plays a rather attractive university professor in his 30s, 40s, who is single. He's very talented, but has this taste for, the scientific community and the government because they don't understand the truth and stuff like that.
Okay. When is the
So
love?
it's this archetype.
He's
Okay,
not,
okay.
This
pretend-
archetype.
he's not the pretentious guy, but you can tell that he has a kind of a smug
Okay.
aura, and he's the designated hero of the movie.
Okay. When does the 2-bit love interest enter the picture? He
Although,
even
to
has
be
a
fair,
trumpet on
I kind of like
standby.
this. I kind of like this experiment.
Is he at least a better teacher than Mark Wahlberg in The Happening?
Yes.
Like that's hard.
Better safe than sorry.
What?
For the record,
To be
did
fair-
I mention that Aaron Eckhart doesn't really like remembering that he has done this movie?
Oh.
I
And
wonder
bear in
why.
mind, he's done
So-
I Frankenstein.
So let me see if I can understand this. You blow the fucking trumpet to the rock, and the rock somehow reacts to it.
We're
It's
arresting
more
you.
like,
We're
it's
arresting
more-
you for crimes against music.
It's more like how the waves propagate towards an object depending on its mass.
That is technically a legit thing there. Mind
Mhm.
you,
Well,
the movie just picked a silly way to show it. Oh
But
yeah,
that's just the thing, Dubs. That kind of thing is the kind of thing that was run off as a played for laughs in I Am Weasel. You're under arrest for being a monkey, which is still a crime in many states.
Anyways, so
But yeah, the feds have actually got him because they need him for. He's not under arrest, but they need him for something.
of course he's the best man they've got for the job. Not like we have a dedicated scientist for the job. Go get a college professor on this.
They actually needed another. Dr.
like,
Serge Lebecq, played by Checky Cario, which is an actual French actor.
Jackie Cario, what are you doing here?
Okay,
You actually know him, Pedro?
Yes, he's from Das Boot.
if I recall
Oh.
correctly, what we have here is a cast that was more or less big at the time, so...
Relatively, yes.
Hey, Joe, but maybe he's like Indiana Jones, where he's a college teacher, but he's also something else. Maybe I don't.
Oh, Teki Karia, he was also in The Wink.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
No, you're about to learn actually.
Wait. I'm sorry. You walked that far into the room until realizing that those were all cadavers there?
And here's our typically military general. But hold on, you guys need to learn actually how the people died on Boston.
Everything here is classified.
There we go, check.
There you go.
Oh.
Huh.
Pacemakers.
It's the electronic device that helps your
No, I know
heart
what it
function
is.
properly.
No, I know what it is, but what would the pacemakers have to do
Oh,
with
he's
it?
about to explain.
Oh, weird.
It is technically possible, but be forewarned, this movie plays fast and loose with actual science a lot. There is a reason why it's nominated to how not to do things in science, but to be
Well, I
fair,
mean-
this is legit.
So,
I mean, 98% of all movies play fast and loose. with science.
This is a bit of an egregious case, mind you. Yes,
okay.
Pedro?
two things. One, movie, there was a much better way of conveying the horribleness of this than having that guy make that stupid silly face on the table. Second, I love the way Aaron Eckhart phrased that, like all these fatalities,
Oh, hey, look, Dibs, we're in London now, and it's gray.
these are the lamest Mortal Kombat fatalities yet.
Now all the pigeons are
Are we
dying.
about? Are we about to
yeah,
shoot
we're in
the
Birdemic
sequel?
now?
No. Are we about to shoot the sequel to Alfred Hitchcock's Birds?
Or did the bird have a pacemaker as well?
Okay.
Yeah, all those birds had pacemakers. How do you explain this then?
Oh God, maybe it is the birds again.
Yeah, that's a real good point. How do you explain this, Mr. Scientist?
We will do eventually, but
No!
yeah.
We're under attack!
This is Birdemic. Oh, what the
No.
fuck is
get
going
your
on?
coat hangers.
No, seriously, guys, it's Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Oh my god, did you notice? In the camera show just now, that woman, she was supposed to be distraught, but the way her face was, it should look like she was laughing.
Also, apparently, probably due to a prop error, I never noticed, but apparently in one of these scenes where the birds attack, there's also a fish throw there somewhere.
So,
Apparently.
Okay,
Dwibs,
here's
just
this movie's...
So, Dwibs, just a typical day in England, I guess.
Yeah, no, this happens every other Wednesday. I hate this.
Okay, here's the movie's first...
Professor, here's a puzzle. How many birds are right now in the sky fucking people around?
Oh my God! I mean, I know this is supposed to be serious, but these scenes are shot so
Yeah.
terribly.
Pepsi.
Oh, by the way, Pepsi.
The streets of London are being terrorized by pigeons.
Oh, by the way,
What was that line,
go see Phantom of the Opera, everyone.
Oh, there was a fish. What was the line that oh god, the old guy in the first Mary Poppins said? You give money to pigeons and what you get, fed pigeons or something like that.
Yeah, but okay, here's the movie's first problem. Like Jova
Fly, my
said,
pretties, fly!
Hold on, go ahead, Pedro.
Go on, Pedro.
like Jova said, the movie's way of conveying the horribleness of the disaster and the disastrous consequences is done executed in possibly the most goofy way possible. So it's
GBTV.
and as a result, it's impossible to take this seriously.
Yeah.
And apparently, all over the world are happening disasters similar to this.
It turns
Okay,
out
if
in
you can't get...
That scene was straight out of Birdemic right there.
Okay. To be fair, I get that, you
Hold on. This is another legit thing, by the way.
Alright,
So far so
okay.
good, I guess, with the science. Although,
I mean-
to address your thing about movies often playing fast and loose with science, Twibs, I'd argue that it varies. Like,
The bullshit science will happen later, trust me. But
Alright, to be-
go on, Dweebs.
Okay, to be fair, I know you have to come up with generic names for like news channels if you don't have the rights to certain others, and Viacom wouldn't buy Channel 5 for another 9 years. But seriously, GBTV?
Great Britain TV.
You might as well just go all the way and call it This is British Television.
Mate.
It's for the same reason we have cola brand cola and that your favorite brand of chocolate, Webs.
So
Chocolate.
yeah,
when it comes-
Aaron Eckert's character is actually about mobilizing a couple of his students to actually try to see if a theory that he's formulating is correct. Go on, Jova.
Like, okay, playing fast and loose with science, yes, you could argue that is somewhat common in movies, but I'd argue that, unless the point of it is that it's going against the normal scientific bout here and there, oftentimes a good movie is able to stick to it for the most part, relatively well, essentially. Stick with what's accurate at the time. Mind you, there are some times when a movie can be so ahead of its time that it turns out that it's actually more correct about the science than what current science says, so make of that what you will.
Mm-hmm. So, in the meantime, a shuttle is actually about to re-enter space.
But
into
let me
crawl
guess,
space.
bits inside the space shuttle pull it so far fast and down that it can't adjust for re-entry properly, and it blows up. Did I just guess that?
No. And one of our main pilots here is played by Hilary Swank, someone who ostensibly knew not much about science because, let's just say that in an interview she said a phrase that it's laughable if you know anything about science, but I will mention later when it becomes more relevant.
Isn't it pronounced Hilary Swank, actually?
Hilary Swank, yeah.
Sorry.
Swank.
She had a breakthrough in The Next Karate Kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was the next Karate Kid. How did that go? It killed off the film franchise
actually
until
have- Sorry,
Cobra
Bob.
Kai.
Her most famous movie is Boys Don't Cry.
That's a film.
That, and I think she was also in that Clint Eastwood movie, if I remember
$1 Million
correctly.
Baby, yes.
Yeah.
She still is getting work to this day, apparently. Well,
She was in a couple of episodes of BoJack Horseman. There's that.
her last film and last TV episode that she's been in have been both in 2020. Nothing else since then, apparently. They look like they're absorbed by the Captain Marvel force.
Oh.
Hey, Alfred Woodard!
Mm-hmm.
I love that
Yeah,
look
well-
that guy just gave. Like it felt like seriously.
How did she go from Star Trek First Contact to this?
Oh my god, she was in that?
Yeah, apparently because of a com dropout, the shuttle is way, way over target.
Oops.
And he's actually about to impact in, I forgot which city. And the other pilot, by the way, the other captain, is played by Bruce Greenwood, of all people.
Ah, Bruce
And
Greenwood.
yet-
Shouldn't she be busy off playing a president in a movie? Seriously,
He also voiced Batman in a couple of occasions.
Most recently he played the president in
I'm gonna
Kingsman:
take
The
a
Golden
wild-
Circle.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that only Hilary Swank survives this.
You mean to tell me that
knows,
only the hot white woman is going to survive a disaster in a film?
She's the only high profile actress in that airship, Joe. But the other two are expendable.
I don't know. Again, Bruce Greenwood is not.
Sure, yeah, Bruce Greenwood is.
I guess.
Not to mention, again, getting a bit ahead, the role for Hilary Swank's character was apparently decided by John Rogers because, in his own words, he was kind of tired of sci-fi movies portraying, women of science as the nerdy archetypes with the glasses. So he wanted, a relatively different character that was a bit more empowered, which, for the time, it's admittedly was highly progressive.
Which is why the following year he co-wrote a script that had a stereotypical gay guy and a stereotypical mousy woman.
I actually do wonder how much control did he had then and how much PETA was monopolizing everything.
It really does beg the question, because Catwoman.
Because keep in mind, from what I will read later, Paramount wanted to dictate some very interesting, meddling that the writers had to negotiate.
Oh, it just keeps getting better and better with this movie, doesn't it?
Why is it that every single person in command for these things is always called Houston? Like, I get that was the name of the guy.
That's the base, Pedro. It's a city.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
in Texas.
Yeah.
Today, Pedro learned about Houston.
Basically, Paige, the reason Houston we have a problem is a common saying is because, well, that's where a big mission sort of occurred, off of Houston, Texas.
It's usually where the NASA base also is.
That too, as well.
Well, there you go. We actually will use the waterway to try a desperate landing.
Wow.
okay.
Pretty clean
Wow.
landing, honestly.
And they managed to not destroy anything.
But the snoot we're going to need to drop.
Speed break.
Well, okay, you know what, to be fair, they're professionals, so it only makes sense that they should be able to handle this like
True,
professionals.
although we're about to get a kind of a Fast and Furious moment.
Oh, goody.
Oh, so hang on. When these guys do it in a space shuttle, they're heralded. When Tom Hanks does it in an aeroplane, he gets prosecuted.
Tom Hanks was in Fast and Furious.
No.
It was
It's about Top Gun.
It was a no. Tom Hanks, not Tom Cruise. He was
Oh,
in
right.
that. He was in that play. He was in that movie directed by Clint Eastwood about when a plane had to land on a New York river.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a historical.
Basically, now
drama
we're winging it. The idea is that the friction should actually slow them down.
flick. Winging it.
Yeah.
Funny, Pedro. Funny, Tio. Funny.
I know. I'll be here a week.
Okay.
But there's a guy still there.
Because he can't hear. Haha, very funny.
So is this gonna be basically it? Like, we're gonna keep having accident after accident until maybe we should go to the core of the planet to fix this shit.
Kinda. It's more also to establish the main characters who will embark on the mission.
Well, there you go. The day is saved.
Yeah, and no one died. There you go.
Huh. Guess they.
Except for a whole lot of pigeons.
Yeah, the film was called. Solid.
Okay, time to introduce instead the real snooty kind of character.
The Einstein lectures.
Dr. Kaminsky, I think that's the
Zimski.
Dr. Konrad Zimski, there you go, played by Stanley Tucci.
Oh God, why is Stanley Tucci always in this role?
Stanley Tucci playing a snob.
Yeah,
Well, to be fair, he wasn't a snob in Captain America: First Avenger.
First Avenger.
He died, but he wasn't snobby.
That's the thing.
He was
most often than not, he is playing either the jerk, nitwit, or snob.
So yeah, Aaron Eckhart's character is presented as a theory and wants this guy actually to analyze it because he believes him to be the more competent authority on the matter.
So let me guess, it's gonna be a basic bout of, this is my case now, you answer to me. No, you shouldn't. I
You're a
won't
loose
listen.
cannon, Aaron.
And this will eventually lead to his death as well, because he just never learns to listen to them.
Oh, something that isn't on TV tropes, funnily enough, about that scene just then. The original plan for that shuttle seems to have it land at Los Angeles International Airport.
Mm-hmm.
But
Attempt to landing it there, but it ends up on a beach. But 9/11 happened, so the crew weren't allowed to film there, so they changed it to a river.
Oh,
Mhm.
wait. So, you know what, to be fair, I'm not too surprised that this movie would have still been in development around that
Yeah,
time.
this has been in development for a very long time, actually.
Oh, don't tell me. Was this like a passion project like Treasure Planet was?
Not necessarily, but you can kind of also tell that this script was kind of made in the 90s, or, trying to, ride the success of stuff like Roland Emmerich movies.
Up. Remember the rules, Tia, when it comes to 90s film. The 90s started in the late 80s and
No, I
ended
know
in the
that. I know that.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, this film had a magnificent 40% based on
I think it
157
fits.
reviews.
It's not the worst movie ever made, but it's not really that great overall.
With
Your
the
enjoyment,
consensus-
your enjoyment depends if you want to turn your brain off or not.
With the consensus being a B movie with its tongue planted firmly in cheek. The core is so unintentionally or intentionally bad that it's a hoot.
Oh
Yeah.
God, is this one of those movies where they're still debating to this day whether or not they made this intentionally bad?
No. Like I said, one of the writers actually came out and posted the part of the development, and it's a riot about all the time. But yeah, the Lieutenant General Tom Purcell, the guy there you go, the guy's talking to Hilary Swank, played by Richard Jenkins. What are you doing here? He's your very stereotypical military general guy for all of his movies. So the moment you look at it, you know exactly what kind of story arc will he go through.
Joy.
What an ass.
I have business to do. Look at him. He's even
Destiny, was he?
He was even drinking a glass of whiskey, yes,
while
Joe.
smoking too. Like, how much more
Because he's
smoke can you make this
sophisticated.
guy?
No, don't you see, Joe?
Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Don't you see, Joe? Destiny's catching up with us. He's a Sony executive. They were plotting the acquisition of Bungie since 2003.
So since he cannot, since apparently his theories were kind of rejected, our Naked is essentially drowning his sorrows.
Oh, gee, I totally don't foresee them having to listen to him when it turns out he was right.
You and me, buddy.
Actually, why didn't they listen to the guy that they bothered to bring in the first place?
Because the feds were there just to ask about the pacemaker, victim's death. But after that, it seems that they seems to be more willing to listen to Dr. Zimski.
Again, why though? Or hell, why not leave? Here's a better idea. Why not have both of them on?
Well, there you go, Joe. They seem that they changed their mind.
Kind of makes me wonder.
Aaron, we're filming.
Okay. It's nice that they changed their mind, but doesn't that kind of make this whole scene pointless when they could have just had them keep him on board instead of supposedly letting go of him?
But don't you see, Jover, in these kinds of movies, we need to see when they're drinking at a bar.
Yeah,
all right. You're actually about to get the proper explanation on why all these accidents are happening.
I swear to God, if they say the plants are behind it again, we are quitting.
So why did you get rid of me in the first place?
Hold on.
Oh my God! You get
Hold
it.
on.
Well, that's what the scarred side of the coin tells me anyway.
What about leading him in?
No, don't you see? It's all a two-faced game. If it goes face up proper, everyone lives. But if it lands on the scarred side of the coin, everyone will die in a year.
But
Quickly?
Let me use this conveniently placed fruit so I can show you.
yeah, really. He's also going somewhere with that.
Can't wait to see this.
Why didn't we just have diagrams for this kind of meeting
Okay.
again?
He's actually improvising. Don't worry.
I don't know. Journey to the Center of the Earth just told me that there's a weird island with dinosaurs on it.
Roughly, yes.
Mm-hmm. Accurate so far.
Yeah, somehow the core is kind of stopped.
Okay.
I'm not a physics expert, but
We're gonna get an explanation on why it happened later, but trust me, it's a rough time.
Not just that. Okay, I'm not a physics expert by any means, but wouldn't that basically destroy the Earth if it happened?
That's what's happening. It's the problem.
but-
The thing is that it's a slow process.
Well, would it be that slow though? I feel like it would be a bit faster than a year.
Maybe God's stalling it to buy us time.
I guess. And also, Teo, sorry, but I'm gonna have to do it. Excuse me, you're telling me that the planet is dying?
Oh, yes.
That's a fairy tale. I'm sorry, but we don't have any time for that.
Oh, look at this. He's actually about to have a practical demonstration.
All right, let's see.
Shame he wasn't using a Twinkie. Then we could have made the Twinkie joke from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that happens.
No, more like you're in the apocalypse. Like,
In terms of technology, because like he said, in 3 months all technology will be fried.
Oh, it's interesting. So basically, the entire Earth would basically go back to the Stone Age. So it's just like Japan in the movie we watched before this one.
Also, Dick, did you have to put it in the guy's water there?
It's for dramatic effect.
Seriously, this Thursday, it was is The Dark Knight the only good film that Aaron Eckhart's been
I
in?
also like Thank You for Smoking.
Let me
There's
put it like
that.
this. Aaron Eckhart
Oops.
had... Let
Sorry.
me put it like this. Aaron Eckhart in the start of the 2000s had a very, very, very weird run of luck with films.
So yeah, the thing is that they want to reach the core, but it's kind of impossible for very obvious physics reasons.
And how are we supposed to fix this core,
But-
genius?
And now, ladies, half an hour in, basically, we're starting to get into the bullshit side of science.
Wait. No. I'm sorry. Don't cut away. That demands an explanation here.
That's actually what we're about to do. We cut to that.
Hey,
But
things.
basically, I know that this is gonna be more into sci-fi, but we're gonna try their best to make it sound passable when it really is not.
Two things. One, it's interesting you say that. Fun fact: Aaron Eckhart was Christopher Nolan's original choice for Memento, instead of Guy Pearce.
I guess it was unavailable.
They couldn't afford him at the time. But and second, okay, so what you're telling me, Mr. Tucci and Mr. Eckhart, is that if I point a gun at the Earth and fire, I'm not just making a hole; I'm killing the planet.
So yeah, Dr. Zivsky had a friend called Dr. Edward Brazelton, played by Delroy Lindo. Apparently, this guy is about to star in the upcoming MCU Blade movie, so we might be checking him out later.
Delroy Lindo. Let's see. He has a prominent role in 4 Spike Lee films. He's also been in Malcolm X. Good one.
He was
there.
also in Sahara, which I saw. Apparently, he was an extra in Congo.
He wasn't. I mentioned Sully. Aaron Eckhart was in that film too.
There you go.
So yeah, Braz.
I should get around to picking that movie at some point. The movie's a hoot.
So
movie?
Braz had a couple
Congo.
of experiments
yeah.
in mind. First one experimented with ultrasonic rays.
So, I'm curious. Does Aaron Eckhart consider
Jova.
this movie a bigger
sorry.
shame than Thursday?
I don't know.
Hey, Jova, guess who was one of the producers of Congo? Kathleen Kennedy.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. She has been in the industry for quite some time.
Okay. To be fair, Kathleen Kennedy is not a
Okay.
newcomer to Hollywood.
Okay,
at
this
all.
is just apparently
What?
with this ultrasonic
Wait.
apparently this guy invented essentially an ultrasonic cannon, which the military would be immediately on this if this was actually a real thing.
I guess he was just that much off the grid somehow.
Of course, look at the damage this thing did.
The Duke
You
became
tell
a
me that the United
supervillain.
States never even tried to cause this guy beforehand.
So let me get this straight. This guy has a fucking ultrasonic wave that can fucking throw holes into rocks, and you're telling me it has never been used by the military at any point before this point?
Apparently they didn't know about this. Bull.
But he also has another, discovery here. An element that you're not gonna like the name of, Pedro.
Oh, please tell me they turned a rat into a monster or something like it.
No. He's basically trying the efficacy, the effectiveness of that metal shell that is built by testing a smaller version of the ultrasonic ray onto that.
So what's the name that I'm not gonna like?
You're gonna hear in a second.
White Portuguese.
No.
And that one, honestly, that one is just more confusing than anything. Okay. So what happened to the mouse inside?
Yay, he's still alive.
Okay.
Oh, so basically it doesn't damage that material.
Nope.
That box. Okay.
Which is not what we need for the ship. Hold on. Or, what's the name?
37 syllable? Are you
no,
fucking
please.
serious?
Again, Pedro, I told you, in science fiction, that's commonly the name associated with a material, but it's non-existent in real life, and they want to give it a fancy name.
Somehow this is the only other movie I've heard use that name before, but there you go,
It's mostly
Pedro.
it's because it's mostly used in books.
I
God
guess
damn
kind
it.
of-
So yeah, that's what that's what they need. An entire ship made of unobtainium on the outside and a drill of ultrasonic waves on the front.
Don't you see, guys? This is why the humans were getting the unobtainium in Avatar. We needed it to save our planet.
Trust me, Joe, but the unobtainium in Avatar has very different properties than this one.
Okay, so the bullshit science too. Does it get on the level of the bullshit time travel of 13.2 where we literally state that changing the future changes the past somehow?
No, it's much more consistent. Okay, here's another proof this script was made in the 90s. Here we have a very stereotypical hacker guy.
Oh no!
Of course.
But I thought John Rogers was trying to avert stereotypes.
He was? Wait. And he uses a toaster, of course.
To fry is the compromising data.
Is that what Tio said earlier?
Does he not realize... Okay. Unless he's...
And just by the way, just wait until you go. This is also how it looks like. I can't stereotype much. He's played. Let me see. By DJ Qualls, which is more of he also has a bit of a more TV career, but he's still been doing movies after this.
What a motley crew we're putting together here.
His name is Rat. Ha 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 ha.
Get it? Because he looks like a
Because
rat with his nose.
hacker names are fancy.
Okay, I'm curious. Is that his actual nose, or did they get him a prosthetic?
No, that's his actual nose, Joe.
It's like in the Matrix, where one of the hackers is called Mouse.
You know, okay, I can just imagine the very specific thing. Must have nose that makes you look like a rat, cause
No, not just that in general. He needs to look what Hollywood believes the very stereotypical basement dwelling nerd of the 90s is.
Where are the glasses then?
More pretentiousness.
Oh goody, two pretentious morons going back and forth between each other. Just what I need.
Yeah, to understand, this was done again, much like the movie Hackers, this was done in a time where people had no idea what an hacker actually did.
So does this become as crazy as the Angelina Jolie film Hackers?
Not much, although he's about to actually demonstrate a trick.
And of course, he's a pickpocket.
Yeah, that's no problem though, Taylor.
Hold on.
Okay,
Oh, Nokia phones.
And of
that
course,
takes me
Aaron
back.
Eckhart is the one that actually convinces Rat to their cause.
still around, Joe, but they're just not common.
Oh boy. Why do I get the feeling this film was also written back in the day when people were trying to figure out what the internet exactly was?
Oh, that's where you go. Hack the planet.
Is that easy?
Oh
Is it?
god.
Hack the planet.
Yeah, just by
Okay,
whistling
that's the
a
most
particular
horrific-
sequence.
That's the
not-
most unrealistic part of the movie.
You know, that's impressive for 2003, but nowadays...
Ha! He jerks off of Xena Warrior Princess. What a nerd. Seriously,
See-
Hollywood, fuck off.
See, there's one problem though too. If he's supposed to be the stereotypical '90s base dwelling nerd, why doesn't he have glasses? I mean, that's one of the common hallmarks of a '90s
I
nerd.
Well, we
guess
didn't
really
wanna
not
be-
have props, huh?
Well, we didn't want to be too stereotypical, you
Also,
see.
did we needed that scene where she swallowed the
Jova.
gum?
Hold on, Joe. You're telling me that this is where they draw the line. This is where they decide to apply restraint. Like,
So yeah, since it was Hilary Swank's, idea in how to land correctly the shuttle, she's actually court-martialed for that because she technically disobeyed orders, but it's more of a thing of, we understand what you did.
I'm sorry. I'm
Wait,
having
wait,
a
wait,
hard
wait,
time.
wait. You're telling me that her officials aren't dicks who don't realize that what she did was right? You mean they're actually being
Surprisingly.
reasonable?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna do the thing and credit a commander for it.
Because honestly,
Debs-
with all the stereotypes in this film, I'm surprised that this is one that they didn't stoop to.
Again, if anything, for the time, it was kind of avant-garde when it came to the female characters.
Again, I mean,
You see-
I guess that's one thing we can give this movie credit for.
Also, I'm sorry, apparently we enter into an episode of Jag. Okay.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, Pedro.
You see, Webbs, there's two major reasons for that scene that you said was the most unbelievable part. First of course, that whole thing of hack the planet and hacking the phone and everything. Yes. Second part, the other most unbelievable aspect, the fact that they're trying to pass that guy off as a '90s nerd without the glasses. I'm sorry, that's just not believable.
It's more of a case of either commit to it entirely or don't.
Yes, a 90s nerd is told by 2003.
Oh.
Wouldn't you rather I do this? I am, of course, the guy who was not
And also,
the
he's
cool
booking
guy.
constantly. Like,
Again, how much more You know, the only way to make him look more pretentious is if he constantly had a martini in one hand and an apple to eat to make him look more like an ass.
Okay, I thankfully got subtitles on my YouTube copy that I'm watching this on, but I thought you said Disney for a second, not Destiny.
no. Again, more on that later, too.
It's only a matter of time.
It really is.
There you go, that's basically our main team. Rat is gonna be essentially kind of like more the mission, part of the mission control, so he's not gonna be with the crew, but that's most of the others.
Dr. Keys.
I'm sure she's not the love interest.
But you see, Dr. Keys is the awkward guy who can't even get his tie right.
Again, very another stereotype in this case perdured until the early 2010s instead.
So what exactly is? So what exactly is Alfred Woodard's deal in all this?
She's also part of her mission control.
Okay.
Remember,
Okay.
she worked at NASA too.
Okay, well, here's the thing, though. Disaster movies. I'd have thought by 2003 it would have started to have done. It would have started to become. Have gone out of vogue. Out of style and out of touch. But they're still making them as of recently, albeit
Yeah.
mostly it's Roland Emmerich.
You have to remember also this, but the 2012 craze allowed them to endure way longer than they need.
People say superhero films are overdone.
All right, let's see. If I recall correctly here, we're gonna properly explain the plan in full force.
We're all gonna die in a year. Thank you very much for this briefing.
It wasn't funny, Aaron.
Man, Aaron looks like he doesn't know what to do in this film. I swear, half of his scenes almost feel like he's thinking, what am I doing here? Why did I agree to this?
For the record, no improv lines, apparently. It was mostly just script.
Why did I say yes to this and pass on Memento?
And yet, again, I wonder if he still considers this an even bigger shame than what he would do later on Thursday.
There you go. What we need to do is to reach the core using that ship of unobtainium, detonate nukes in a very precise sequence in order to kickstart again the core. Considering kind of like of again, think of it kind of like of cardiac resuscitation. Again, this is one of the more bullshit part and one of the major mandates with Paramount. Paramount wanted absolutely nukes to be the solution to this, even if the writers told they wanted to do things otherwise.
Like, yeah, nuclear energy always makes everything better, am I right? No.
Is this okay? Does he think Cornwallis and Gromit? Except again, hey, remember they said this was Armageddon but below, so maybe this Wallace and Gromit a grand day out and below.
You still need to keep that phrase in mind. The thing that the commander mentioned as a possibility for later. Also, another thing, yes, the ship would be basically kind of like a train with 6 wagons, which in order for security reasons. So if for any kind of reason the ship gets damaged, one of the compartments can actually detach properly.
So all Bruce Greenwood gonna do is just stand there and look like he's trying to go sit about.
He's gonna be the sacrificial lion, isn't he?
He'll reincarnate as the most stereotypically evil U.S. president in history. 14
So,
years from this
also,
film.
what they did explain in the meantime about the unobtainium, in case you need to know, is that again, it's more of a MacGuffin and everything because it's super convenient. Get this, it's a metal that gets progressively more resistant, the more heat and pressure are applied to them, which is a very perfect, conveniently perfect for a mission like this.
How did he develop such a thing?
Like he said, he combined, apparently, again, bullshit technobabble, he combined tungsten and other stuff as he knows on a super cool temperature.
Okay, I'll be fair. Sometimes we gotta do some of that outlandish
Again,
stuff.
I don't really mind this kind of sci-fi, and it's ultimately one of the reasons why this movie is still a guilty pleasure to me. But again, the bullshit gets out of control real fast.
What? Okay, calm down. I can't concentrate on
Oh
anything.
my god. Will this family ever work out?
What do you think?
Well, at least Techicario is having fun.
Wait. I'm sorry.
And the simulation was a failure.
I'm sorry. He literally laughed, calling it a disaster. Are you sure that wasn't an improv line or him just trying to talk about the movie in secret?
Whatever, it works, doesn't it? Let's keep that line in the movie. Aha! There you go, Joe. We found it. We found his 2-bit love interest. That would be Hilary Swank.
Again,
See?
for as much of the fact that their character is actually in a better position than a lot of others, they still basically going through the 1-2 combo of being the very telegraph love interest. But hold on, we're about to get a slight Captain Marvel moment.
I love how we could immediately tell she was going to be the 2-bit love interest just by her saying hey to him.
There you go. Ironica has been thinking in order to fix that image, but doesn't know what to do. But there you go. There, by just flicking 1 or 2 switches, despite not knowing everything.
She just solved it?
Hold on. Actually, no, it's up in a second, but yeah, but basically it.
Apocalypse boy.
Movie.
No time to be talking about your bloody merchandise.
Movie. I get the feeling your merchandise won't be selling well. Actually, did this movie even have good merchandising with it?
Not really, considering how much the marketing was and it bombed.
What?
There you go. Hold on. Wait for it. There you go.
How
She just
even?
fixed it like that.
How even? She's not one of the scientists. Like,
She has no experience in the scientist, but she just does. At the very least, she's not really smug about it, and Aroneka takes it well.
But
Because reasons. Okay. To be fair, this is just the writers trying to be quirky. It's not so much that they want to shove the character in your face or anything. From the writer's perspective, I can tell that they meant for this to be fun.
Yeah.
Considering the time this was made, I can legitimately believe that.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm fine now.
That Sky CGI looks terrible. I don't like it either.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not too bugged by it. I guess how I would have written it being is like, oh, I don't know, maybe she had a theory or something, but they don't even explain how she came up with that. Or maybe just she did it by accident and that's all.
Jova, she's just that good.
Uh-huh. Well, you know, at least they're showing stuff that she is good at. Piloting,
Yeah, at least more like she's actually training, you know, because she's being a co-pilot. And her character flaw, as we also seen before, is not necessarily pride, but the desire to not fail, you know, and everything. And in order to do so, go through rigorous training, even, you know, beyond the normal limit.
Crashing the ship. I mean, if it weren't for her tactics, you would have died on that ship. Screw you.
I think he's talking about the first test drive of this thing that they tried.
Yeah.
Where
He said you already crashed one ship.
And with great power comes great responsibility.
I'm sure that will not be important later. Also, Nike.
Also, shouldn't she already know that, given the fact that, you know, she's in command of big
No,
space...
she's only the co-pilot.
Oh.
He is the guy in command.
I mean, he is the experienced commander.
So this
He's
is
basically your mentor.
So this is essentially just setting up his death, and that'll lead to when she is to take command, isn't it?
Jova, why would you ever think of that?
Because I have eyes and common sense. Oh my god, what is this? The
Generic
Brady
Baker,
Bunch?
ignore that. It's only there to set up the next scene. Yeah, literally just that.
Oh boy. Thunder, rain, and lightning.
No shit!
No! Duh!
So good.
No, guys! I thought it looked great!
And mind you, Rat is supposed to literally filter away all the potential, you know, news that can cause a mass panic. Oh no.
Oh.
Sorry, Tio.
Sorry, Tio.
It's Italy's turn.
Rome's about to be,
Is Rome about to be destroyed in a day?
By bird, or is it just? Oh, it's just a storm.
Well, potentially not just a storm.
What?
Oh, they're gonna be electrocuted.
Let me guess. The players in the football game start dropping dead or something.
No,
or maybe that's. Or maybe that's just.
Mamma fanculo, ti madre.
Not the game!
Mamma mia, that's a spicy electrodomestic.
Wait. It's
Not the Colosseum!
How are they getting electrocuted in the Colosseum?
Oh look! God just destroyed that CGI statue that wasn't actually there.
Not the Colosseum!
Okay. So I was wrong. This is God getting...
God is not pleased with you.
This is actually God's...
Stop the parliament!
Okay, this is
Oh
actually...
wait, it's full of politicians, never mind.
This is the Italian equivalent of Independence Day, where they destroyed the fucking White House.
The humanity!
Well, hang on. What about Vatican City?
Also, TVR24, we don't really have a channel like that, sorry.
Also, too, didn't tell me that this was secretly a live-action adaptation of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time.
Okay.
To be fair, not even Paradox went on to town that much on Venice.
Okay.
Guess they couldn't. I guess they couldn't get the rights to Italia Uno.
Or any of the Rai channels, that could have worked. But anyway, time for the launch officially. So okay, logically, the best place for them to actually start digging to the core is the Mariana Trenches, which is considered the deepest point, near the mantle.
With the biggest dick is hears about this.
Isn't he dead?
No, because Dickus survived the life
Of
of Brian.
course he does.
Yeah, but
Okay, also I will say this,
He's immortal.
for the most part, for being an early 2000 movie, the CGI is fine. We got some moments like the sky before what Luis mentioned, but and a couple of shots, particularly during the day. But for the most part, it does the job it's supposed to do. I've seen worse.
That last shot wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, guys. Let's toast to planet Earth and.
I think we're actually gonna give it a name. Yeah.
To
Now.
Virgil. I
Yeah.
guess that'll really motivate him, eh, to you?
Yeah. Yeah, in order to be a bit tricky, they named the ship Virgil. Especially also because the annotainium is slightly bluish in color, so it fits.
And also, get it? Dante's and Virgilius?
Yeah. Virgil was the guide of Dante doing hell. They even mentioned that.
Surprised they didn't name a component Dante, honestly, to complete the theme.
What are you eating?
A Pop-Tart by the looks of it, I think. A loaded Pop-Tart. I hope that's a Pop-Tart and not,
Oh, by the way, Dr. Zimski will have basically his personal audio log, but he's gonna record every step of the way.
Again.
So.
I'll give Stanley Tucci credit. When he plays a dick, he commits to it, alright. What is this, a Star Trek episode?
Engage.
For his
Mr.
Paramount.
Wolf. Mr. Wolf.
Yeah, I wonder
Fire!
if this is gonna. I wonder if this is gonna actually be present on the catalog on Paramount Plus.
Oh, how about this? I'll have to be the Mr. Harley. Fire!
No effect. Remember the outcome of that bit, Pedro. So it has no effect.
I mean, that is true. Photon torpedoes work only 50% of the time.
Yeah.
And
Makes you wonder why, Mr. Harley. Photon torpedoes can only have 50% of success rate. Why don't we still use them in all these movies again?
Because the phasers might be offline. Remember Star Trek: The Motion Picture?
Yeah.
You're in a wormhole. They don't work.
There we go.
I'm kind of surprised that they never made a ride based off of it. It seems like an obvious drop tower.
Considering
ride
how much it bombed, I kind of understand.
Oh, trust me, it would not be the first time that Paramount has made a ride based off of a movie that ended up being a bomb.
Any examples?
Oh god, I know it, but I forgot the name of it off the tip of my tongue.
It's the movie bomb ride.
Funny.
The ride, the bit where you climb in is made like a film camera, and as you're going through the ride tunnel, all around you see images of movies that have bombed.
So
and all
yeah,
the critical reviews.
So yeah, like mentioned before, the way that Virgil, the crew, will be able to see outside of Virgil is thanks to that X-ray scanner that Aaron Eckhart's character was developing beforehand. Would you believe me that one of the mandates that Paramount wanted to have originally for the movie was for Virgil to have actual windshields?
Why? Okay.
That's the writers had to basically beg them to not implement that because it just did not make any fucking sense.
It would not be practical in the slightest.
So yeah, another side effect, their ultra wave cannon, essentially drill, is also kind of acting like a device that helps resonate with the acoustic frequencies that whale hear.
I guess so with the sonar. Just hope the whales don't knock into it or something.
It's also so weird because they act like the whales are also ecstatic by that. It's like they're hearing a singular letter. But even if this was true, what would happen would be the whale hearing basically someone basically yelling, constantly going, ah! You know? Like, that's not much heartwarming to listen to. So yeah, how convenient. There's an earthquake that's about to happen right under their feet.
Ah, shit. Wonder if they use the technology Japan uses to prepare for earthquakes.
I just remembered. There's one stereotype missing. There's no Hispanic person that's sensitive to the supernatural. Come on, guys! Like,
Ow.
like if you're gonna go this route, might as well go all out.
The only major foreign that we get is, Dr. Serge. Well, we're French and everything.
I don't want anyone to panic, but we may very well be boned before the adventure properly even starts.
Also, we didn't actually mention yet, the music was done by Christopher Young, who has quite a plenty resume, but I will say the score of this movie is very forgettable. Not necessarily bad, just forgettable.
I mean, I did like his score for Spider-Man 3.
Whee!
Actually, the bit where the Sandman is born.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, there were a few rides that Paramount made based off of their movies here and there. There was a Tomb Raider ride, of course. That was nice. There was a ride based off of Face Off, I kid you not.
How does that even work?
It cuts off your face and replaces it
I guess
with
it's
Nicolas
based on the
Cage.
final sequence, the boat chase.
I think it may be a boomerang coaster. Don't quote me on that.
Is there a Mission Impossible ride?
Alright,
No.
let's see if the drill actually works and we don't actually go pancake into the seafloor.
But there is a Top Gun ride, Dwibs.
Okay.
It's a roller coaster. Pretty good one. And
There we go. Mission control, the suppository is entered.
beautiful.
And yes, of course they managed to have radio tracking signal. Of course.
Yes, core.
Of course, that makes sense.
Uh-huh. So it should be simple, right? Just tunnel to the core of the Earth. So
Basically, the thing is that again, since they only have basic data and no one has ever tried this before, they actually go on with what they have. They don't know exactly how long that will necessarily take.
It's starting to feel like Matrix Revolutions from the perspective of the machines. They're also
Same year.
how so, Pedro?
because the machines are using a drill to dig into Zion, which is near the core of the Earth, where it's still warm, like they say. So yeah, and but this is basically that. Also, check it, cardio. Seriously, check it. Is Das Boot the only good movie that you were offered ever?
Let me see, because I haven't seen.
It's like Aaron Eckhart. And, okay, Sully was a good movie too. So.
He has mostly been doing. Actually, been doing some English stuff before, but he's also mostly a French actor.
Yeah.
Aside
was
from how that,
It was in the Belle and Sebastian movie. That was okay.
aside from how Sully portrayed the National Transportation Safety Board, that was weird.
This music is so whimsical.
Yeah, they want to have the whimsical moment where we actually start seeing what it's inside the mantle.
This is like a disaster movie that's trying to be a Spielberg movie. Not saying that can't work, but Spielberg is not the name I often think of when I think disaster flick.
There we go.
Oh, but it wouldn't be an exciting film if we didn't have some conflict on the way to the core.
Yeah,
now,
that's
would it?
actually a thing. One of the things that the writers kind of noticed immediately is that, okay, you want to have this, but due to the condition, we kind of don't really have many ways for them to actually, be in company and everything. One of the ideas that Paramount had was to make also the suits able to have them, swimming inside the lava.
Like,
That
did you
also-
learn how to? Wait. Okay. He was telling that guy, "Do you know how to read?" I'm like,
I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be on this mission if he didn't know how to read. Like, I get that that's a joke, but it's kind of a dumb one.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, honestly, that is kind of a problem with this movie, though. It's like, well, okay, so it's a simple journey to the core
well,
here.
let's start having our first potential conflict.
Oh, boy. Okay, I'll give you that line. Now repeat it in a way that doesn't sound ironic. What?
like,
Again,
and we will learn in a
They found-
second it's not empty space, so I have no idea what
So-
our own record is blabbering.
Hey, Jova, they found the rest of null space that we never got to see.
like, no, seriously, this just sounds like magic now. Like, what do you mean there's nothing in empty space?
They
That's-
will actually explain in a second what they mean by that. But the Iron Echo was, I get the idea it was just formulating a theory, but this is actually one escamotage that the writers actually invented in order to make a reliable excuse why the characters can go outside in a suit.
Okay, look, so here's the difference between this and Journey to the Center of the Earth. Journey to the Center of the Earth was based off of an old-timey story that was... Well, okay, this was well before we even pondered what was inside the Earth. And you know what? It was a lot more of a fantastical venture here and
Mhm.
there. This movie,
Jimmy-
though, should know better.
which Journey to the Center of the Earth are you?
The original
referring-
book.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Well,
the
that was
book.
actually Job.
I'm talking about the book and by extension the movie it's based off of, but the reason that works better is because it's a lot more fantastical. You know, it's...
Jova, the reason
So-
Dave's asking because there's a 50s movie, which is the one you're referencing, but also there's the early 2000 one with Brendan Fraser, which acts
Well, late 2000s.
which acts kind of like of a sequel to the original story.
Wait. So it's a sequel to the original?
That's because the characters do find like the diary of Professor Brooke.
Okay, as somebody who has seen the Brendan Fraser film, I had no idea that's what it was referencing.
I also think about that movie. There was a theatrical film called Journey to the Center of the Earth, but the exact same year, there was another film also called Journey to the Center of the Earth, which was an asylum film.
Wait, the Asylum. Okay, that checks
Yeah.
out. Dwibs, the Asylum kind of thrive on mockbusters that are
Yeah.
meant to confuse
But
people
that's
into
the
thinking
exact
that
So-
same name.
So yeah,
Dwibs.
sorry.
That's exactly the point. They want to trick you into thinking that it's, said movie that's miraculously come early to DVD or take advantage
So-
of parents who don't know as much better or, anyone who doesn't know better.
So anyway, there you go. Virgil has impacted onto something and cannot move, so the only solution is for the characters to actually go outside.
So, red shirts, who wants to volunteer?
Uh... Why did you design the exit there? If you knew that was, still hot in occasion like this.
I guess they figured it would never come to this.
It's dumb. It's still
Yeah.
dumb. It's a design flaw in universe.
Yeah, here's the major problem with this film. It is heavily contrived because, again, by all intents and purposes, this should be simple. Just drill through to
There
the
you go.
center of the Earth and nuke the core, at least as far as their plan goes.
And of course the Swiss can take the pressure. Alright, let's try to see exactly where we are.
Crystals.
Of
course.
course.
No!
So yeah, it's a massive crystal cave. But I know what you're thinking. How is it possible? Again, the characters will be explaining a second, even if it's another case of slight bullshit scientist. Sure.
This deep in?
It's not just a matter of
Oh my
being
god!
it's
Even the
also
script,
the-
even the script points
a-
out how unbelievable
yeah,
it
it's
is.
a lamp shading.
It's almost like the writers had to come up with a reason to slow us down from achieving our mission. Now, like, I'm not saying that you can't come up with stuff here and there, but this movie is trying to be more realistic than Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah.
So
For
it
the
needs to be
record,
held
also-
to a bit
sorry,
of
go
a
on.
higher standard in that regard.
Oh,
Oops.
yeah, unfortunately the characters don't have much time.
Wait. There's magna just bursting through? I'm sorry. if
It's more
ma-
like it's a residue from what they created.
Alright.
And just like, a dam that gets one drop at a time and then gets expanded, yeah, this happened too.
Well, this presents a problem.
Uh,
Thank you.
Also,
we
this
almost forgot you were a
this
dick.
conflict, by the way, it's kind of unnecessary. Because the goal is to just cut away the crystal that's blocking Virgil's path, fair enough. But the cave is actually filling with lava, and stabilizing the pressure, which is the entire thing the Unobtainium thrives on. So all we need to do, technically, would be to just get back on the ship and just wait until the lava consumes all the crystal, and then they can proceed forward.
But Tio,
I have no idea what's the problem here.
But Tio, how else would we have Bruce Greenwood die?
Oh, and by the way, there you go. That's the conflict. There's no actual compressed air for the drill, so Aaron Eckhart is performing heroic sacrifice and giving air from his suit.
Oh yeah, sure. I totally believe Aaron Eckhart's gonna die in this movie. Music, can you pick a tone? Is this supposed to be a triumphant moment or...
And I love how how Braz doesn't even know that that Aaron Eckhart is in pain right now. Like, he's so focused on cutting the crystal, he doesn't notice that. Oh, and of course, after you cut it, you can just simply kick that kind of thing away. Of course.
Aha! Yeah, I will take BS for 500.
All right. Well, BS. Okay, Jova. So your question on the BS category is, what exactly happened? And what exactly happened in Beyond Two Souls to actually cause caused Ryan to survive the Arctic waters?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that. And here's our first casualty, Bruce Greenwood. Congratulations, Jova. killed very anticlimactically by a random crystal just popping like that and dropping on the hand.
No, I'm sorry. That's Looney Tunes level of...
Sorry, Joe, but this is Paramount, not Warner Bros.
He literally got killed by a
Fine.
bonk to the head.
Okay, fine. It's like a Popeye cartoon.
Fair enough.
And his body just awkwardly sinks in there. I mean, I know that's supposed to seem tragic, but something about that just seemed hilarious.
Which actually does remind me, I haven't asked yet. So, here's your chance for your bingo cards. So, who do you think is going to survive at the end? Dweebs?
Eckhart and Swank.
Just them?
Yeah.
Okay. Jova?
I'm gonna also say Eckhart and Swank. No
Pedro?
way, black guy lives.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Jovi. You know, it's funny because you're Bruce Greenwood's habit of playing American presidents.
Yes.
He, ironically enough, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
So there you go. Hilary Swank is now basically the only pilot in this mission. No pressure whatsoever.
Again, we totally weren't building that up from the goddamn start.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Aaron, we're filming.
Yeah, and here's the other big problem as well. Hold on. I'll wait till switches shots. But yeah, and here's another problem. Like if you're trying to portray him as a not necessarily a nerd, but like a college a somewhat college professor who's kind of and yet Aaron Eckhart is a bit more buff than
That's
for
the
that
thing,
role.
Pedro, because it was kind of it's okay. I will advertise, but I will call it basically a cliche that Michael Crichton premiered specifically for his books, and a couple of other authors, and then some movies followed. The idea of a protagonist, which is both a science man around this kind of age, but also, of course, he's still relatively attractive, and gets on with the ladies of the expedition in some kind of fashion.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that, honestly. If anything, it's a
No,
stereotype.
it's just a cliche that happens,
Funnily enough, that's kind of the case with Jurassic Park, where the main character is actually a pretty well-built archaeologist.
Yeah, that's because one of the things that Spielberg actually changed. I read the original book, and apparently, get these dweebs. Apparently, Sam Neill's character in the book was supposed to be kind of like, imagine Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, but with a beard, basically.
Pretty much.
Well, hey, in terms of Bruce Greenwood's character dying, at least he took care of the burial.
I guess so. You buried him so close to the center of the earth. Truly, there is no greater honor.
Wait. What did he say? Sorry.
He got a proper burial when you get down to it. I mean,
Oh.
he is well below the Earth's surface, so yeah.
Wow,
that's
that's an incredibly inappropriate thing to say.
Like you care about the characters in this movie.
No, I do not. But from the context of the movie, it's inappropriate.
Actually, that's what Dweeb said.
Yeah, that was actually a joke that Dwibs
Yeah,
made.
I said it.
Not one that the characters made. Not that what the characters are talking about is really that interesting here. I mean,
It's another thing that forced to itself to establish that these two are gonna fall in love.
honestly,
Yeah, that's literally it.
wouldn't a better thing to be, reflecting on the fact that somebody flipping died in lava?
I'm starting to notice something.
Molten magma. Yeah.
They introduced Hilary Swank's character as a capable astronaut. But now at this point, she's not really participating on the action, and she seems to be just a token love interest at this point for him.
She's still the only pilot that they have, so she has still a big responsibility. So don't worry about that, even if it's not appearing now.
Oh, wait,
She's actually gonna be
I'm sorry.
important.
Which character said they have a daughter?
The French.
Oh,
Not
Icaria.
Serge.
Oh, you
Right
are.
now they're synchronizing the bombs, just to be sure.
Wait, you have a daughter waiting for you back home? Oh, you are so dead.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no. The whole I have kids waiting back for me at home thing, that is usually a consigner that you're dead. In fact, believe it or not, originally in Jurassic Park, there was a
Hold
deleted...
on. What's the next conflict?
Droids. Oh no. Oh.
Okay. I don't remember. I know that gemstones and diamonds gets born because of the constant, deep pressure. But if I recall correctly, they start ultimately forming when they start reaching the upper levels of a mantle and the crust, not necessarily this deep. It's funny.
But yeah,
because it's a dangerous situation where just having a joke.
Fun fact, actually, in Jurassic Park, there was a deleted scene where the lawyer talks about how he has
His
two
family.
daughters back. No, how his daughter's birthday is coming up. His twin daughter's birthday, mind you. And one thing he would think about getting them for a present would be, like, a dinosaur. And how their favorite is the T-Rex. That scene got deleted
Irony.
because even Spielberg thought maybe that was laying
A
it
bit
on a
too
little
on the nose.
thick.
Oh, you don't have to say it.
Why is she smiling like that? What? Oh,
She actually noticed that, so yeah.
oh my god, this is turning into Star Trek. Everybody, run around as the camera shakes and flails!
Oop, they needed
No,
the code
is Surge seriously about to be the next one who's gonna die?
for an heroic sacrifice, Drova. Oh, but he needed something else too. Also, these doors are closing very slowly. And how convenient that it was only the last, compartment that was damaged.
It's literally minutes after he mentioned he had a daughter, too. Just...
It gets literally dragged like that.
Well, that was a wash.
Don't you just love when all these things that we prepared for go exactly wrong?
Hold on, this. Yeah, there's this. Early in the movie, also, it was established that it's important that what Zinski said is true. One danger compartment, can actually affect the entire ship, so it's too risky to open. But the movie clearly wants the viewer to side with Aaron Eckhart and believing that if there was just one chance, they could have saved him. We could have saved Sarge. It's poorly conveyed.
Really is. It just makes Aaron Eckhart's character come off as a dingus who doesn't realize.
Again, Jova, it's a double kind of thing. It's again established the fact that Aaron Eckhart is basically the purest character of them all. That knows always what's right, and as such, he's not understood by all these other people who clearly don't understand the truth and stuff like that. And it comes a bit damaging for Hilary Swank's character because she technically had to make a decision, and this goes in to show what. Bruce Greenwood's character told her earlier about responsibilities, but the movie will treat her like she did she was actually a bad choice. There we go.
And he died crunched up like an accordion.
Okay. He's got his coffin at least.
Wow, 2 for 2, Dwibs. Are you gonna get a one-liner for each death in this movie?
Well, you see, Joe, at the very least, this movie also broke tradition that the black guy was not the first to die.
I am
There's
certain
that.
that the black guy is going to die at some
Oh,
point.
but of course, the important other thing that he got was the daughter's diary that is like the memento.
Again, I told you, the minute he mentioned he had a daughter, I knew he
Oh,
was
here
going to
we go.
die, but I didn't think it would be that quick. All you people are disgusting for doing something that may have saved our lives.
No, he didn't.
Oh, God. And now is really not the time. Wait.
You first.
She's being smug about this? She's being smug about this? What hint in her voice suggests that she was being smug about this? Oh my God, really? Okay, so...
Okay. I'll be honest. Aaron's really not good in this scene. I'll be honest.
I mean, okay. Let's forget how much of an idiot his character is acting like and just focus on his acting here. He seems like he can't decide whether he's supposed to be crying, angry, or on the verge
the only
of
reason he
meltdown.
starts to minimally understand is because she has to echo some words that Sir said before. The fact that he was not going to save the world, but just his family.
Well, maybe that's why years later he's ashamed of this.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the film's bad, but you can still be bad in a movie regardless of direction.
So, to quote Peter Pan 2003 Smee, quite exciting, 2 dead already. Well, not much.
Even the emotional music release. Rat, you... Okay, just because you don't say your name, you don't really give a rat's ass to these people.
I'm sorry, why are we giving Rat of all people a sentimental moment? It's to show that
Don't
he
worry,
really
Joba.
does care.
It's foreshadowing for later.
Has Rat actually done anything in this film so far?
Rat, again, aside from being mission control, he's been responsible for the control of the information, so the people, in the world will not go into mass panic.
I swear.
Although it's still baffling the fact that he can control the entire internet with just enough money.
So, okay.
Mm.
For as awkward as that scene was, could they have saved Surge? I
No.
don't really think so.
No, again, not even that. It was a risk that the characters knew about and agreed to be subjected to if that happened. So as much as it was painful and an accident, it's a thing that basically had to happen to preserve the integrity of the entire mission.
So, and that's something. Aaron Eckhart's character did agree to that risk earlier as well.
Yeah.
So why is he suddenly having that?
Because Jova, he's the person that knows the truth. Like he's the one with the true emotions, that understands the reality of things.
And because Surge had a family, damn it.
Remember the words from Bruce Greenwood the way before? The fact that he theorized that maybe the density of the core might have been different from what they calculated?
Oh
yeah.
boy, here we go. Gotta find another reason for somebody else to die eventually, I guess.
Yeah, if the core density is different, that potentially, makes the entire equation of the bombs detonating sequence awry.
So, let me guess. This is to give an
apparently not.
Let me guess. This is to give an excuse for Rat to do something back on the surface.
Hold on. You're onto something.
So we came all this way for nothing.
Brilliant. Alright, we can all go home. Okay.
I will turn this car around, dang it.
As much as it's still smug and everything, Zimski has kind of a point.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Aaron, but we have failed. The movie sucks.
Unfortunately, there is a plan B that nobody else knew about. What is destiny?
I'm sorry, Aaron, but the movie's just not working. We better go home. at this point.
Okay, remember how I told you that Richard Jenkins' character is your stereotypical military general guy from these kind of movies? Yeah, we're
Yes.
about to hit that button.
What?
Destiny. You couldn't even vitalize Destiny rights.
Oh my god.
The American military system, everyone. The,
So-
the Russians or the people in the Middle East might be, building a weapon that causes earthquake. Let's make one all for ourselves.
Instead of letting them kill us, we'll make a device that kills all of us?
And guess what? Yes,
I
it
don't-
was this that stopped the core.
I don't.
Are
I-
you...
I'm
Wait,
sorry.
wait.
What?
So what you're saying is that the reason that all this is happening is because of a doomsday
Of the
device?
American military complex, yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the film just gave up. It clearly doesn't give a crap about making any kind of sense. So at this point, it's just.
And
it's
of
just-
course, so basically now this is Plan B. Virgil has got back home, and the gruff military stereotype, will take control of the entire thing and use Destiny to try to resuscitate the core with a set of other charges.
Okay. Not
thi-
for nothing, but if Destiny is the one that's, the cause of this thing, shouldn't that have been their first plan from the get-go instead of sending people
But don't
down
you see,
to the
Joe,
core?
they need to keep it in secrecy.
Great! 2 people are dead now because of it.
So, Jova,
Yeah?
since the actor playing Braz in this movie is British,
Yeah.
what do you think of his American accent?
I guess it's fine. Braz is the general, right?
Braz, no, Braz is the Braz is that guy, yeah.
Oh, and here's another instance. The
Oh.
fact that Aaron Eckhart wants to directly go against this because he believes this is the right choice. And of course, the movie will portray him as ultimately the being the right. Now, mind you, the whole military angle is still very stupid and is handled in a very irritating way. But they still would have a point in a sense that the mission still doesn't have the right equipment to be successful when it comes to Virgil, but Aaron Eckhart's character wants to still go through with it.
Okay, look, for as dickish as the military are being, what they plan to do is something that will, avoid the risk of more lives, essentially. And also, Aaron, not for nothing, does anyone else on the ship get a say about that? Oh boy. Okay, at least... I guess at least they left it up to a vote, but... Dang.
It's
Oh.
still stupid. Stanley, I know, just keep going and think of a paycheck.
I'm surprised that the commander took it that well,
Hey.
honestly.
Okay, look, Mr. Director, you probably shouldn't have kept Stanley Tucci's Christian Bale style rant in the movie. Seriously.
Seriously, this sounds exactly like we would have been saying to
Hold
the
on.
director. I don't want my career to go down with this movie!
I want out of this movie! Let go of me!
There, you're out.
Did he?
Knocked out, anyway. Wait. That's when he punched him over? That he called him
Yeah,
a stupid
apparently.
ship? My god, you people are so immature! The world is doomed!
But don't you see, Joba, they're still in the right.
2 people have died because of some
And yes,
of this.
this is also Rat's moment to shine, because essentially what's gonna happen is essentially a kind of a mini revolt where Alfred Woodward's character, is gonna convince Rat to use his hacking skill to stall as much as possible Destiny in order to from firing.
Honestly, I'm surprised that the commander.
Oh,
didn't-
right. Before we need another disaster scene to pad out a bit more the movie.
Honestly, I'm surprised that the commander didn't, yell off Swanks' head for her insubordination. Like, again, surprisingly averting the stereotypes there. He just nods and he's like, yeah, okay, you do you.
Not the fishies!
No!
Fish.
Oh,
Are they going to destroy the
what,
Golden
Wilson?
Gate?
Yes, we're about to have the Golden Gate be destroyed again!
Wait a minute. But X-Men The Last Stand, that
3
also
years.
came out... What?
3-year gap, but
Okay. You know what? It's official. Okay, I'm gonna have to follow up on what Jova said, like 40 minutes earlier or something.
Wait. The
Okay.
heat is electrifying the bridge? What the
Sure, why not? Jova,
Yeah?
I just realized something.
What?
It's not just God punishing the Romans. No, this is what happens. Humanity has become too stupid, and that's clearly, and that's why God decided, well, time to destroy everything and start from scratch. That's what's happening here, clearly, because the characters in this movie are so incredibly, hopelessly stupid that they're literally too stupid to leave alive. That's what's happening here. This is God deciding to pull the reset switch.
Okay, not for nothing, how does the Earth's core somehow cause the sun to be all super...
Because remember, it's a small hole in the electromagnetic field. That's what
Okay, so
what
there's that too.
solar flare essentially.
You know, I thought,
Because
well, you know
science.
what's the best thing about it? Kind of like a microwave. I was just replaying
Oh
it
my
these
God,
days, and I just
guys,
remember
look, it's
stock
called-
footage.
The company is
but-
called Live Breaking News. That's totally a news company we have over here in America.
you know, I
Live
thought was gonna
breaking
happen.
news.
The best thing about it is that the opening sequence from Vanquish is almost identical.
Oh my God.
You know, I thought was gonna happen.
Well,
I thought that while the reporter was giving his broadcast, another disaster happened and he died screaming in pain mid-broadcast, and you have to cut to a holding slide saying technical difficulties or something.
Could you imagine, Jova, if it was a slow news day? This is live breaking news. There are no news today. Okay.
We haven't any breaking news. The biggest amount of breaking news we've had is our editor broke a plate.
Okay. For as much as
There's your breaking news.
Okay, for as much as a dick as a general may be, he does have a point that things are literally getting way out of hand here, so...
the problem, Java, is that again, he's portrayed in this very stereotypical way of the military commander who listens to no reason and is unnecessarily a dick to everyone else that doesn't agree with him, even so he's normally just a dick, with this kind of mildly irritated
Wait.
expression permanently on his face.
So Destiny is in Alaska.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, you know what? To his credit, the world is going to pot all here and there. So can you blame him for wanting to launch Destiny, especially when they don't even know how things are going to go?
The supposed reason that our Neckar protested about is because ideally, if Destiny keeps firing, it will have more disastrous consequences of having, like, say, every volcano erupting at the same time on the entire planet, with no guarantee that it will restart the core.
Fair
The
enough.
thing is that the characters do not have that much time.
Exactly, that's the problem though. It's like, well, he doesn't seem to have a good counter for the fact that they're running out of options, they're running out of time, and now the mission is way more up in the air than it was beforehand. Like,
Yeah, that guy right at the end of that scene, for a second I thought that was Scott Bakula.
I feel like the movie needs to, look at both sides a little bit with a more of a, gray morality, or, not such a black and white mentality. Because honestly, they've, for the most part, been averting the whole stereotypes with the general here and there, and he has raised good points. But nah, he's the big, bad, mean general who doesn't understand the sacrifices we put into it, and the majority says we're gonna keep tunneling down. Again, mind you, 2 of us have died already, and more of us could die. But, and for all we know, we could fail, but nah, have them keep holding off stuff. Suddenly all of San Francisco
Stanley
got
Tucci at the
blasted
very
away.
least now is a bit more proactive.
I guess he kind of has no choice at this point.
Why?
Gotta be more pretentious.
But what about your oxygen?
Yeah, that's usually a good concern.
These are the geniuses that are going to save us, everyone.
Again, to be fair, Jova, I don't think Dumbasses would have been that good of a movie title.
So yeah, the idea is to not just release one big bomb, but to release them in sequence.
I don't know, Debs. Like, if my country can have a movie that's literally just called "Crap Movie," I mean,
Maybe.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, Pager. Crap movie isn't at the very least not attached to a supposedly seriously intoned sci-fi movie.
I
Fair
guess.
point.
I mean,
Again,
it'd be like if we called Star Trek Nemesis cliche, or Attack of the Clones cheesy.
honestly, this does have a similar problem to Star Trek Insurrection. The fact that it tries to portray the big bad government as just the de facto bad guys, when in reality, the sides that are going up against them have just as much, if not more, problems going about.
The only difference is that the species portrayed as the victims aren't all massive self-absorbed snobs.
Yeah.
We have an instruction manual about potentially detaching the bombs.
Hey, just because I don't think Insurrection's the worst doesn't mean there's stuff I can mock.
So, not for nothing, but how is this going to fly under the general's nose when he is literally in the same building as Rat?
Oh, he's not just noticing.
What's he doing? He's sending a virus.
More like he's trying to assume direct control. Look at that, he's getting into the cyberverse.
Oh, yes, I get it all now.
Remember, again, 90s logic, the fact that cyberspace is like this landscape that you literally physically navigate into.
I guess to be
I mean,
fair,
it's still cool. I get it. Eventually in the 2000s, early 2010s, massive a lot of people essentially had their own Santa Claus is not real moment when they realize that navigating the internet is just that, not as cool as they thought it would be. But still, guys, it's still ridiculous.
I got Dexter Douglas, nerd computer case. He surfing down the internet and was zapped to cyberspace. He turned into the Freakazoid. He's strong and super quick.
Yeah, they want to detach the compartments of Vigil so they will be used as the cases for the nuclear detonation. So let me get this straight also. Unobtainium is resistant to almost everything, including ultrasonic waves, except, something as hard as a diamond and a nuclear detonation.
Fucking
Of
brilliant.
course.
I'm just wondering, was the plot literally written on a bunch of Swiss cheese? Because there are so many holes.
Jova. Again, I will mention more for the interview, Jova. This was the final draft. These had to go through so many drafts. Again, to give you also a bit of a taste, at one point, one of the Paramount execs wanted to have an excuse so they could have dinosaurs in the core.
Oh,
Yeah.
So just like Journey.
Really?
Wait. So they wanted. Why not just make a Journey to the Center of the Earth film at this point? That would have
'Cause I
excused
think-
it more.
Because I think New Line Cinema owned the rights.
But
Oh, I forgot to
dinosaurs.
tell that
So let me get this straight. The twist was going to be that it was dinosaurs causing this all.
Somebody forgot to tell that executive that dinosaurs are cold-blooded creatures.
Not just that. The idea generally would have been to have like a small bubble case similar to the geode with the crystals, but one with dinosaurs inside it. But people deemed it too stupid because it's still a closed environment with no recyclable air.
And Brass drew
The small straw, yeah. But it seems that he might have cheated a bit.
heroic sacrifice.
See, Theo, if they do it, the pinnacle chip will overload, zapping the user of all the energy from the internet.
Okay.
Of course.
You will give him superhuman strength.
Wow. Okay. I love how Stanley Tucci at first seemed like he actually cared about Brass, but then he says, "Not at the expense of you making us look like fools." Dude, if you're the one who knows Virgil best, wouldn't it be best if you survive then? You know, since you made the ship. Because if we don't have you alive, then, well, you know, we're even more up the creek without a paddle.
So yeah,
You know, this guy's attachment to his ship is starting to be borderline creepy, to be honest with you.
considering he's been left alone in the desert for so many years, yeah. So yeah, Pedro, while not exactly equal in that, we're gonna get a scene similar to the microwave tunnel from MGS4.
I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
This was like 5 years before that, at least, Jova.
All right. No. Okay.
I love how in his next movie, John and Neil decided, yeah, I'm gonna try and calm down and make a film about Charles Darwin.
The one he did in 2009, right?
Yeah, Creation.
That's the only other movie that he directed, and ever since he has directed only television stuff.
Yeah.
And even then, it's just like a couple of episodes for each series that he touched.
What is that supposed to mean? Oh.
Oh, look at that. They really care about each other.
So I guess the idea with Stanley Tucci's character is that he becomes less of a dick. I'll admit, I thought he was actually going to become more villainous along the way, but maybe they averted that.
Yes and no in a sense, but he was in for the whole Destiny project, but essentially now he's basically trying to make the most of the situation. Not necessarily because he's still a dick, but more like he's trying legitimately to save the planet, because he has no other choice.
Again, though, seriously, Braz doing this is dumb. This guy knows the ship best, so if he's dead, what do we do if something goes wrong with the ship?
Well, I mean, all their other experts and things that they need are dead. So,
Well, technically, Aaron Eckhart's character could have gone out and done it as well, and he doesn't know the ship as much. And yeah,
So
this is
fair,
a bad
yeah.
idea.
star of the movie.
Well, they don't know that.
Oh God, can I do this? I'm all meta.
You love theme.
Oh yeah, Braz
Snake.
totally isn't gonna die.
Snake, you can do it, Snake. Don't give up.
You will believe a man can have this much love for his ship, and
Meanwhile, Meryl is shooting everybody. Meanwhile, Meili is
And also,
commandeering the ships.
And also, again, design flaws. Why did you left the manual compartment for this in this point of the ship?
God, the stupidity is just sleeping off the screen at this point. But he can do it! He can do it! The music suggests he can do it! Despite the fact that his glasses are cracking while inside the helmet. What?
There we go.
Oh yeah, Braz, you
Yeah,
can totally
no,
survive.
no.
Yeah, no.
Also, now this time you're okay with that.
Wait, what? He's okay with it now, and it's Stanley Tucci who's against it? What up? Okay, yes, I know that there's been some development here and there, but...
And there's the cremation.
God damn it. So, burial, coffin, cremation...
We're kind of running out of options, Bodwibs. You're gonna need to step up the game.
Well...
And there'll probably a burial at sea next.
Well, okay. You know what, to be fair, if our predictions of only Eckhart and Swank surviving are true, then he'll just need to come up with one for Tucci.
And we still have a half hour of this.
Yeah.
So, what a happy little journey this has been.
Ow. just for a reminder, these are nuclear weapon devices, by the way. We just toss him in like that.
They didn't have, like, hazmat suits or something, given that these are nuclear devices. Oh my god. Did you want this mission to fail or something?
These guys probably think those nuclear testing facilities are playgrounds.
Alright, first compartment.
Most unorthodox.
Oh my god.
The
Could you-
pretentiousness. Come
Yes.
on, Rat, you can do it.
Type faster!
Just like that. You can just, Alt F4 like that.
What?
That's a phrase that he mentioned before. It's the
That-
that he mentioned that his own kung fu was strong, and now we understand. He actually notices that, but
That
Oops.
clearly sounded way
now
cooler in
he's
your
playing Pog. What a nerd!
Back in 2000, writers of this movie. Back in 2003, gamers were playing.
Like, make him play Warcraft.
I can tell that the people who made this movie haven't played a video game since the 1980s.
Like, have him play something like, I don't know, Doom at the very least. Was there like a licensing problems where you could only get Pong?
Or hell, if he's a hack...
Public domain too. So
I mean, seriously, even Baby Geniuses at least had a baby playing Crash Bandicoot in it.
Not just that, even stuff like Ghost Stories could showcase Dark Cloud and ended up being allowed to call it GTA. Also, but yeah, there's our last major conflict. The last bomb needs to be more powerful than all the others.
I may guess, which means it needs to be activated remotely or some stuff like that. Or
Whoops.
whatever. It's a video game. They're all the same.
oh,
Uh-oh, looks like Aaron Eckhart is in danger.
oh yeah, I totally believe he's gonna die in this movie.
Oh, shit.
Of course you can't. Aaron Eckhart's face.
Of course it has. That worked out.
That expression. He knocks himself out like that.
Oh, and now Zimsty's gonna be the one who's trapped, isn't he?
This is a slapstick routine now.
Okay, Dwibs. Okay, Dwibs, you better be ready to think of a one-liner for Zimskis.
Hmm.
And look, now Zimski is doing the brave
The heroic
sacrifice.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Suddenly, there's no hesitations about leaving people behind the door, now is there, Aaron?
There you go, that's what we need. Alright, now we're gonna get Sally Tucci's last moment. Oh, of course. Alright, so Aaron Eckhart on his own will now have to pull up the plutonium bars of the ship's reactor and attach them to the bomb, to the last bomb.
You really need to do a lot to make this guy the hero of his story, don't you?
Alone,
Libby?
mind you, he has to do it.
Unfortunately, Jova, there are no funerals that involved crushing the body.
compressing.
Yeah, so I mean, 3 out of 3 is not bad.
Well, actually, too.
How about she's just standing there, not even asking questions.
You know, in the dark, she looks like that character from Resident Evil.
Which one?
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah,
Oh, Alice.
yeah. Who knew all along this was a secret sequel to Resident Evil?
Didn't this come out? Oh wait, no.
Came out a year after.
Yeah.
Yeah. It secretly
He
changed.
has to drag the entire thing on a stair.
So heroic, though, as he does it. At least that's how the music definitely seems to want you to feel. Okay, now the music really does sound like it's starting to go Star Trek.
There you go, last compartment.
You did it! By the way, Bimski's dead. Zimski.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but his hands are fine, just mildly burned.
I can't even do the burial at sea jokes, since technically we're not even in the sea.
It's a seal molten metal, I guess.
Some burial then. He's gonna be floating for eternity, the poor guy.
Don't worry, like he said, we're about to actually to get to the last moments of Zivsky. They're kind of priceless.
Well, now we're all alone, so we can make out, I guess.
That's the thing. The movie
Oh,
hasn't
right, there
even
we go.
properly had these two characters
No, at all. There's no camera.
properly
There's
talk
like
to
a
each other
couple,
about
there are a couple
anything.
of scenes. There are a couple of scenes, but it's so poorly handled still.
That sounds more painful.
All right, first bomb.
Damn, that's CGI.
So yeah, looking at the Geomag done by Brez gives our Eckhart an idea. With that expression.
Goodness.
Beck, I got it. We could leave this movie, travel forward in time to 2008, and I could be in the Dark Knight earlier.
What's
I mean,
the
the film's
Dark-
already scientifically inaccurate enough.
What's the Dark Knight?
I had a premonition.
The Dark Knight is one of Batman's nicknames. Come on, you
Come
never
on, surely you
read
know that
anything?
much.
It's hard for me to think when my brain is being fried by all the seeds.
Pedro. Only nerds read comic books.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
You know, this kind of makes them look like they've gone mad and are stripping down the ship.
Third one. Oh, here we go.
Really?
Stanley.
Hold on.
Is he gonna get interrupted?
Hold on.
Well, at least he gave his own eulogy when you think about it.
Yeah, no one's gonna listen to it. It's like, you know what this reminds me of? It's like that bit in the Stan music video when Stan's doing his last message, but at the end he realizes, oh shit, how am I supposed to send it?
Well, guys, at least
Tucci is the best character in this movie because he genuinely seems to be. He's the only one who seems to be completely aware of what the piece of crap that he's in.
well, guys, at least he got to give his own eulogy.
So yeah, the big question is, will this be enough to restart the core?
Well, I mean, you don't have to worry about scattering the ashes for him at least.
Hey, there's the fourth one.
Yay! And it worked.
You did
somehow.
it, Twibs! 4 out of 4!
Yeah. The movie's even cheering me for it. Seriously, the most I've been able to say throughout this movie has been freaking funeral jokes.
You know, not for nothing, but if that plan hadn't worked, then Rat would have helped just doom the world.
So yeah, by the way, their solution is to literally just hot wire the actual copper wires to the actual exterior metal of the ship and hope that's enough to actually give it energy. And it works!
I thought copper wouldn't really work that well. with
Oh, and they
electricity.
even kissed it. Okay, to be fair, it's a moment of great joy because now they may live. Still,
In
though.
general, Dweebs, actually, copper is the metal of which the wires are made of. It's a good conductor on its own. The problem
Yeah,
is that
I know
the
that
way
enough from X-Men.
the problem is that the way they handled it is just so cartoonish. Just tape it onto the actual metal part with absorbing energy, and that should be enough. It's so stupid.
And let me guess, this is somehow going to propel them out
Yeah.
through the surface of the Earth. What? Even though it took them, over a day's worth of time to get here. Is that supposed?
That's dumb.
What?
Why are you so happy about that?
We're gonna die.
Of course.
Wait, Pedro, the planet's healing itself. It really is spirits within.
Okay.
I say,
Chocolate blue.
Oh, now it's friends. How come my country never gets destroyed in one of these things?
When Pedro,
What famous landmarks are there to destroy?
yeah, I was about to mention
it?
Pedro.
Egypt.
When you will actually have a good monument, maybe you'll be getting be considered.
Oh, we have some nice vistas. Those could be destroyed.
Yeah, but Spain has vistas as well. What makes yours so unique?
do you have like a world famous monument, statue, building, structure, or whatnot?
Oh my god, are they microcosm? Like seriously, this just looks like the graphics in microcosm.
Pedro, sorry to say it, but we were having this kind of visuals for like more than an hour and a half.
No, I'm sorry. No, but right now we're in the middle of it, and we're going through these specific tunnels in that specific color, though. And it looks way more like microcosm than the previous stuff, though. Like, seriously, go back and check out microcosm footage, like especially the last level.
16 hours later.
No. Don't tell me they're actually going to end up in the sea after all.
Yep.
Well, Dwibs, looks like you may get that burial at sea after all.
Let's see. Get it? Burial.
That's so funny, Dweebs.
Oh no, the signal's lost.
You're fired.
And you what?
It could be
You
the
what?
end.
Oh, what did you do?
Don't you see?
Okay, now
It
I
could be
notice.
the end.
I notice it now that revisiting this movie and everything. But Alfred Woodard character did almost nothing in this movie.
Don't you see? She
Yeah.
convinced Rat to interfere.
Like I don't on that effect and believe she did a bit more for Mission Control.
Oh my god, they're at the bottom of a sea.
But unfortunately, since there's no more heat and pressure, they're just destined to be there, hoping they're gonna be found.
Yeah, we are getting that burial at sea.
Wow, so technically that's 5 for 5. That is beyond a hat trick. Well done, Dwibs.
Yeah. I mean, this might as well have been called. This might as well have been called 5 Funerals of the Core.
You know, honestly, that sounds like a more interesting name than just The Core.
But hold on, I think if I recall correctly, we're gonna have a moment of genius in a second.
We've got 14 minutes left. How are they going to fill it?
With battleship footage.
Battleship, 9 years early.
It's still a better movie than Battleship, even worse and all.
That's not saying
And,
much,
and
but
of
yeah.
course, till the last, the military guy is always he's like, oh, this is hopeless. Let's just live and die.
Is the military guy part of the Navy, given how, Army, Air Force, and Navy are three different factions of
Lieutenant
Army?
General, U.S. Army, and leader of the operation. There's that.
Jova.
What?
One of the films.
Orbital Wobble!
Orbital Wobble? What is this, Doctor Who?
Or Highlander the Source.
So one of the film's producers is Sean Bailey, who's currently the president of Walt Disney Studios.
Huh.
He's been there since 2010.
How uncanny.
Also, another one was David Foster, which sadly passed away in 2019, Jova. But he was a producer for films like John Carpenter's The Thing and The Mask of Zorro.
Wow. I mean, great movies and all, but what happened with this one?
It's amazing how Hollywood works. You could produce a massive box office bomb, and you get a job
There
with
you
the
go,
biggest
Rat's
movie
about to
studio
have a
around.
moment.
There be whales ahead. This really is Star Trek.
Oh god, that's one of the last Star Trek films I want this to be associated with. Star Trek 4? Really?
I thought people like Star Trek 4.
I don't.
It's a bit too goofy even for Star Trek standard for my taste.
Really? I mean, as far as I've known, the general rule
I
of thumb
like
is
the idea that there's a super weapon incomprehensible and you need something from the past in order to decrypt it. But the whole process of actually getting the whales and back in the past with all the the wacky shenanigans of the past doesn't feel that right to me.
Also, save the whales.
the general rule of thumb I've heard is
And there you go. Because we managed to find them thanks to the ultrasonic that they have, the impulse that they sent, because it attracted the whales.
it's a miracle. And the whales did it, sir. The whales saved them, and oh god. Oh god, this can go in hand with Legend of Titanic now.
Kinda.
How did we get to this point? Just how?
We saved the planet, Jova.
I mean, they're both films that devolve into lame save the whale stories. I can't dislike that Titanic movie, but also like Star Trek 4. That would be inconsistent.
More lamp shading.
Tired of being right? That... You know what? It's not even a point at this point. Just... Are we seriously having this discussion now?
Yeah. That's our last. That's gonna be our last. That's gonna be our last wish before we die. Let's order a pizza.
Imagine if this movie tried to be one of those gutsy, you'll never know if they survived or whatnot. It is up to the audience to decide, because we are deep like that. Yeah? Why can't they, actually?
Because the mission is classified.
I get that, but the problem's been solved now. Shouldn't they...
But Joba, if only there was someone who could spread information on the internet.
Oh, I wonder.
Why did we just skip to one
In Venice, California, in an internet cafe. Cyber cafe.
Cyber cafe.
Okay. To be fair, okay. Oh, well, actually, no. Too. Allow me, because I actually know this. To be fair, that's an actual thing. In my country, there are plenty of these. Basically, what they mean by that, it's a cafe that, yes, it's a cafe, but at the same time, it also serves as a place for people to come in with their laptops and use the Wi-Fi.
We have something like this, but they did not start to appear until 2012 at the very least.
Oh.
I guess, but at the same time, cyber
Also-
cafes, at least over here, are a thing.
Also,
to
why
be
did
fair.
you use the font and the exact same colors
Network
for the?
acquired?
And why did you use the same font? And the actual colors of the borders and the font for
What?
Games Workshop.
Okay, why is it that every movie uses a fictional
There
Oh,
operating
you go.
system that doesn't actually
CNN,
exist?
ABC. Wait,
ABC, CBS.
Wait.
Does
Hold on.
micro?
Oh, wait, hold on. So now you can use the network names? Where were these network names before when you were using
Pravda.
stuff like live breaking news?
London Guardian, Der Spiegel, Al Jazeera. The
As far
Do
as
Voice.
Microsoft, do Microsoft and Apple really charge that much for using either Windows or Apple?
And hey, at the time, Viacom and CBS were one company. Why don't you just use CBS News?
Commercio, Vision.
That's a good question.
But yeah, the movie essentially ends with Red spreading information all over the world, so they know who the heroes of the story were.
Directed
And
by
that's it.
John.
That's how the movie ends.
There's no post-credit scene.
We don't even
so-
see Aaron Eckhart and Swank
Nope.
escape.
By the way, another thing that I can mention, potentially before the whole dumping, there are only 2 created writers. Allegedly, there were 4 more that went uncredited for this.
Oh boy.
And this movie had several drafts. So
Do you want to get into
See,
the production history?
I was about to
now?
mention, since it might take a bit while, in case you want, in case you might not have enough time, Waves, you want to go with your fan thoughts first.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, I didn't realize you could pack every possible funeral into one movie. So well done. Aside from that, this is one of the silliest films I've ever seen, and in most cases, it's actually pretty fun to watch because of how goofy everything is. Unfortunately, it's also bogged down by a couple of things, and not just the writing, although that doesn't help either. The CGI is just awful for the most part, even by 2003 standards. I mean, they're talking about the same year as Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, and we were still getting CGI like this.
Mm.
And some of the acting as well, especially from actors who you normally think would be better than this, just pretty bad at times. Like Aaron Eckhart's supposed mournful death at Teki Kario's character. He just comes off as like he's a toddler throwing a temper tantrum. Not a guy broken over the death of his
Best friend.
his friend that he knew for a bit.
The movie operates on a couple of these characters knew each other from long ago.
Yeah, how tragic. And I gotta yeah, on the subject of the funerals, some of the deaths in this movie are just something, you know.
Telegraph.
Guy. Yeah, and also pretty telegraph, especially when you already say stuff like "I have a daughter at home" or "This ship is my baby," and stuff like that. You know, Bruce Greenwood suffered the lamest death. I mean, he just got hit by a little tiny piece of shrapnel, and that was enough to kill him. We've got a guy pretty much writing his own grave by stupidly running into the place just to get his freaking notebook. Without his daughter's writing on it.
It's not like he has the real thing back home or something. Oh wait.
And we have a guy whose spacesuit is apparently made of plastic.
And his ship is so important that he's willing to sacrifice his life for it, beyond all reason.
That's what this also has been called, beyond all reason. And to be honest, I can't really sympathize too much with John Rogers' take on how this movie turned out, because again, not only because of the hypocrisy of trying to avoid cliches, but afterwards he co-wrote a movie. Yeah, the year after this, he co-wrote a movie about stereotypical stereotypical gay guys and a stereotypical mousy woman. So yeah, well done averting those cliches there, John. And even in this own movie, yeah, he's supposed to. He says, "Oh, I tried my best to make the science realistic." Yeah, by God, sure we did that. And then there's also the other writer as well, but Rogers was the most vocal, which is why I've been mostly harsher towards him.
Don't tell me.
Although John O'Neill's directing is pretty lackluster as well, especially for a film like this. If half the time it just feels like it's like he forgot cameras could move. I mean, it's not as bad as the directing in Superman 4, but it's not that much better either. But yeah, the core, it's not great, but hey, I achieved something I never thought I'd ever do in a movie commentary. Funerals. You got all of them in one movie. That's advertisement, I guess.
Surprising.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. All right, let's get to the meat. I will include two links. Well, include the major link. A blog post from a person called let me see, David Brin, which is a sci-fi writer, mostly just a movie writer. He wrote the original version of The Postman, which is the one that got a movie adaptation at the end of the 90s. He originally made this post in 2006 on his blog because he noticed that the movie borrowed a lot of elements from one book called Core, made by Paul Preuss, as in Preuss, and one of the book that he himself wrote, Earth. And he believed that the movie was actually plagiarizing that. He generally believed that. Here comes in the comments one of the writers of the movie, the creator one, John Rogers, the guy that I mentioned before, but also writing, the Catwoman movie. So let me give you the snippets from his comment. John Rogers here, one of the two credited, although I believe 6 total, writers of the core, and a big fan of yours. Imagine my large, pained, Watteau-like eyes that you're crashing. I wouldn't mind clearing up a few things if you can spare the space. Having spent 2 years as the last writer on the core, I can assure you, at the cost of immense psychic pain inflicted upon me by the loaded executives, I was not only the single person in the entire development process who read their book, Earth, I was damn certain the only person who had read any science fiction at all. Cooper Lane, a perfectly nice fella, usually a movie producer, the original writer, got the idea from a special on volcanoes he was watching back in the day. The movie was sold on the pitch Armageddon, but down. The subsequent drafts reflected that level of enthusiasm from actual science. The draft before I showed up, the vessel had a windshield. Oh, a diamond windshield, but a windshield. Yeah. So, Geek Boy Rogers shows up and starts digging in, I assure you. Although I'd read Earth some 10 years earlier, it didn't really stuck with me, no offense, to the point I could remember any plot point. And then we're sure Cooper hadn't read the other book, Core, nor had I. So, how did we end up with the overlap? Well, as far as the title goes, there was the dreamed up by Paramount Studios publicity, although one might point out that there's not a lot of other titles you could give the movie. The hypermatic field issue was mine, because I pointed out that every other problem had was complete bullshit. The version of before mine, of the script, actually, the Earth was going to swing out of orbit and be spun out into space, because its mass, yes, stay with me, was changing. So, the suits at the upper stairs of Paramount said, "Fine, Mr. Mockety Mock, what problem would make sense if you link it to a problem with the core?" I piped up with, "Well, the core drives the Earth's electromagnetic field. If it wasn't plagiarism, it was parallel development. Essentially a case of accidental, things because he actually trying to inject the actual science into it. Let me see. Talks a bit about the whales. This is not important. Oh, there we go. The military project coincidence, again, I can testify directly to it. For my entire time on the project, I wanted to be a radically accelerated pole shift. The whole point of my take is that we are very lucky monkeys who have just had long bit of favorable conditions, and it will fall to our brainiest monkeys to save us when the bad things happen. And this leads to one of my favorite Hollywood moments. After I turned in my next to last draft, the executives looked at me very seriously, hand on knee, low subdued tones. John, we really like this last draft, but one thing bugs us. The whole idea of the North and South Pole switching places, it's way over the top and unbelievable. It just reeks of bullshit. Deep breath? Okay, I shrug. What do you have in mind? Well, how about a giant laser which shoots into the center of the Earth?
I can't tell if that's better or worse, honestly.
This next line is my favorite of him. He mentions, this, by the way, is why screenwriting pays so well. They don't pay me to write, I write for free. They pay me to not punch people in the neck.
Okay, look. Honestly, I have to wonder if, ironically, the suits may have come up with a better idea, because that original idea sounds a little too wacky to be grounded.
Actually, that's his next point, if I recall correctly. I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. So, active knowledge, you had to put people in pair in these situations. But that meant we had to send people down where no one could survive. Again, when I showed up, they had people lava walking like spacewalking. Sweet lord. So I nixed that and also solved the shipbuilding issue with the unobtainium in joke. I'm actually kind of hurt you didn't dig the joke. Again, it's a kind of a common thing among sci-fi writers, but that was the least of my worries. Imagine my joy after constructing a large-scale version of a crystal. The biggest one is a quarter mile, I think, I just extrapolated up, so the characters could leave the ship for a brief moment, and my long explanations to the execs of why we had to do this, because there was no way that any suit could withstand the pressure. Imagine my joy when during the screening I see the suits have dubbed in the line, at least now we know the suits can take the pressure.
And yet it sounds like the suits may have actually have come up with the more grounded plot. Mind you, this plot is still dumb, but that original draft sounds like it would have made this movie even more of a disaster. No pun intended.
Last beat. Yes, there you go, last bit. Very mentions. Don't even get me started why we stuck with the nukes. I postulated at least 5 other solves, all of them tossed aside because the exec could never understand anything but the nukes. He mentions a couple of other things, like the thing that I mentioned before about Hilary Swank's character, is more in a more ideal position of power because he was kind of done with the kind of female stereotypes that were associated with sci-fi movies. The kind of one similar to what Uwe Boll did for the librarian character in Alone in the Dark, just to give you an idea. But the rest is something that anyone can read. Again, I link in the description for the blog post. It's the most noticeable comment that you can find. But yes, and as I mentioned before, another draft involved having a small kind of bubble like where dinosaurs lived in, because apparently people at Paramount don't even bother to do actual research or having convincing sci-fi if they want. But yeah, now that you have also know the other context, rest of final thoughts, Pedro.
Okay, so that was stupid.
What, the explanation, the movie?
Yes.
Both. So yeah, the movie. No. Okay, I understand what they were going for. Like Theo said, they were trying to go for the typical '90s disaster movie type of thing. Problem is, like, even those movies were as silly as they were, had better ways. Like even Twister had better ways of showcasing how the danger. Like seriously, every time this thing tries to come across as oh my god, these characters might not make it. No, it's just executed so silly, like the pandemic sequence and everything. And the characters are morons. The science is something, definitely. I do like Stanley Tucci's character. because he's the only one who seems to have basically. See, I'm convinced that this is half performance, half Stanley Tucci realizing that he's in a piece of crap movie and he's just trying to make the most of it because he's the one who basically just kind of seems to there's just something about this performance that it just seems like, oh, I know I'm in a shit movie, so I might as well make the most of it. Yeah, aside from that, yeah, the CGI is Sega CD levels of amazing. Clearly, you didn't tell me that this was an FMV Sega CD game that only got made now.
Surprised
Yeah.
they didn't make any kind of video game adaptation. You think that it could be feasible?
Maybe. Well, that being said, yeah, the movie. It's a typical 90s disaster movie, but even on that term, it fails even in some aspects in comparison to those. So it's kind of sad. That being said, it is an interesting failure for all the reasons we've already gone for, including that blog post. So there is that. So have at it.
Jova?
This is one of the most simultaneously dumb and hilarious moments, but I do have to agree with Dwibs. Unfortunately, normally, you could laugh this off as so bad it's good, but there's a lot of legit bad stuff bogging this film down that just makes it a slog to watch. A lot of the deaths are just incredibly telegraphed to the point where, again, are we sure that this wasn't intentionally made bad? Or, okay. Is this a case where the filmmakers are trying to suggest it was intentionally made to be like a B movie?
No, they still did try. Paramount legitimately still tried to make it, kind of like Armageddon. They tried to make an action, kind of like, disaster movie properly, to ride on the tide that people like Ron Emmerich had established in the 90s.
Well, that didn't take, it seems.
Nope, at all.
Oh boy,
Clearly.
like this movie.
Again, massive bomb and critical panning. Apparently, only Roger Ebert had something slightly positive to say, and it was more like a recommendation just to have a laugh.
So it was more like a mercy critical review in the sea of negativity. And honestly, I can't blame people for being negative about this movie. It just sucks. Like, it has some redeeming qualities, but they are far and few between. Like, yes, it's nice that Hilary Swank isn't like a stereotypical nerdy female
That needs to be rescued all the time.
Like, no, she's capable and she does kind of take command, I guess. I say kind of
Even her
because
arc is all up. Yeah, the entire arc is about responsibility. I totally get that, actually.
I say kind of
But-
because despite her supposedly being in command, it feels like Aaron's the one in charge, really.
Because Jova, he's just that right of a guy.
And again, how does he go from, cursing everybody for letting Surge die to suddenly being, okay with the others dying?
Like,
I
the
get maybe
closest
that's
I can
supposed to be part of
imagine-
his arc, but there's not nearly enough character development to suggest
Not just
it's
that,
changed.
The closest I can imagine was the fact that he was only reacting poorly to that scene. It was a little emotional burst, and later he only got better from that. He essentially calmed down his nerves. I don't know.
guess, but nothing in this movie is really explained well when you get down to it. And the stuff that is explained well is, like I said, either incredibly telegraphed or more like just a case of, oh, well, that's just common sense. And that is one thing this movie is lacking, is common sense in a lot of departments here and there. They try to portray the general guy as this evil douche guy, but in reality he does raise some good points. But nah, let's just act like he's just mindlessly evil and all this stuff here and there. Rat barely had a character function in this movie, honestly. I guess he became a better person for this all. Alfred Woodard was such a waste in this movie of a talented actress. Like, dang. The action sucks. Honestly, the action feels tacked on in this movie. Again, it's like they realized, hey, if they just go to the center of the earth all easy like that, there's not really much sense of stake now, is there? So they had to come up with ways to have them, be able to be out in the center of the earth which then clashes with the fact that they're trying to be relatively more realistic with this take on journeying to the center of the earth than, well, journey to the
The
center of the
actual
earth.
journalists.
And yet they actually wanted to have dinosaurs be at the center here. Like, what even was the plan with this movie?
It would have been completely tone shifting. At the very least, worse than all, the movie it basically stays on target most of the time. At the very least, like I dread to think what the dinosaurs could have brought to the table.
Suddenly, it would have turned out that the dinosaurs were the final antagonists or something, and we had to make them go properly extinct. I don't know.
Sure. Maybe you could have got a scene kind of like in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, where the characters are, going away, and there's this shot of a Brachiosaurus feeling sad because he's about to die.
But yeah, no, this movie is amazing in how silly it can get. Mind you, I say silly when it's trying to be serious. From the start of this movie, with that guy literally falling on his face in such a silly motion as he dies, like, you could have maybe just cut that out instead of leaving that in and trying to act like you're serious. And then there's all these other over-the-top disaster scenes. It's just, it wrecks the tones that the movie is trying to set up for itself. This movie, okay, look. This movie just deserves its fate of it best being regarded as something that's incredibly silly or bad. Because it really has no good dedication to something, and I am not surprised that it became an example used by scientists on how not to portray scientific matters in a movie. But it's just... Again, the actors were either miscast or misused. I do have to agree that Stanley Tucci evolved from being just a douche to arguably the most entertaining thing in this movie. It's because he's kind of the one who's speaking what a lot of the audience is thinking at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes out in quite a way where it might as well be him saying, what was I even thinking signing the contract for this movie? And then he goes out with a bang, literally. Oh boy. This is a movie that is best left dead and buried.
Inside the core, yeah, so let's go with that. All right, before I start my final thoughts, one quick mentioning. Several reviews cited the numerous scientific inaccuracies of the film. A person for the New York Times said the brazen silliness of the core is becoming inauthentic, like taking a bath in non-dairy coffee creamer. The Earth's core inability to turn is mirrored in the cast inability to give the picture any spin. Another of the Los Angeles Times mentioned instead this: if the core finally has to be classified as a mess, it is an enjoyable one if you're in a throwback mood. After all, a film that comes up with a rare metal called obtainium can't be dismissed out of hand. See, Pedro?
Oh my God.
But yeah, the best thing about it is that on March 30, 2009, Dustin Hoffman was leading a campaign to get more real science into science fiction movies, and Hoffman is on the advisory board of the Science and Entertainment Exchange, an initiative of the United States National Academy of Science intended to foster collaboration between scientists and entertaining industry professionals in order to minimize inaccurate representation of science and technology such as those found in the core. It's also regarded as the worst science fiction film in a poll regarded for, it was handled by the scientific community, and other similar stuff like in 2010, The Guardian, and an article similar to that, but I will not divulge too much. So, final thoughts for me. It's still enjoyable, but mostly because of how a mess it is. Again, I kind of have a soft spot for this kind of disaster movie that are both in-universe disaster and have this bizarre execution. That's not even to say the out of nowhere trouble production that this thing had to pass through. It's just mind-boggling the fact that the Paramount execs were so ignorant, or like basically the mentality of a 5-year-old. It's like, we have this movie about the Earth's core, and we want to make it as most scientifically accurate we can. But we want dinosaurs in it. Can we have them? You know?
Dinosaurs are cool and all, but just because you want them in something doesn't mean you should put them in something.
Again, extremization aside, it's still laughable what happened. But anyway, the acting is a bit all over the place. The Italian dub fixes a couple of the acting's problem, but it doesn't change, the actual facial expressions, which are a bigger part of it. If anything, they gave Serge an actual French accent, which in this movie it doesn't really have. I thought that his actor gave him. I guess he managed to, perfect his acting like that. I like the fact that Hilary Swank's character was, kind of a bit ahead of her time, even if sadly they have still that moment of Serge's death where Aaron Eckhart chews her out for no real reason. And by the way, once again, very, very professional Bill TV tropes to actually stay on the side of Aaron Eckhart for this kind of argument. But again, I can't help but love it. It's worse and all. Again, Stanley Tucci is probably the best thing, like Pedro mentioned.
I can definitely get it.
It's just so enjoyable.
I can get it. If you're in the mood for a movie roast, this movie is ripe.
It is best enjoyed like that. But I don't want to ignore the fact that that is really flawed and extremely laughable when it comes to science and even sci-fi. I've seen sci-fi movies, even of this caliber, that technically are kind of a bit better. Like, I'm about to say something blasphemous, but technically speaking, Armageddon as better sexual science with this one.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like, you get outclassed by fucking Michael Bay. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. The score is fine for the most part. There are a bit of a tear-jerking like moments, like where the score is really pulling you out like that. Again, overall, the package is, laughable, but in a good way for me, even with the bit of nostalgia BS aside. So, that's it for us. There are no real major connection to these in terms of movies as far as we know, but I guess we'll see you for whatever disaster movie of this kind of caliber we'll do next. So, yeah.
See ya.